Commander Sun Ho Kim sat motionless at his monitoring station, watching as alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere. The vessels moved with impossible grace, their hulls reflecting sunlight in ways that made them look almost liquid. 12 identical ships, landing simultaneously at 12 carefully chosen locations across the globe. "It's really happening," whispered Technician Dahyun, her eyes fixed on the main display screen. "After all the speculation, all the preparation, they're actually here." Sun Ho nodded, but said nothing. As head of the Pacific Ocean Monitoring Division, he had spent 15 years watching the skies. Now the waiting was over, and he felt only unease. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Confederation, a coalition of 37 spacefaring species who claimed to manage this region of the galaxy. Their appearance was surprising. Tall, humanoid forms with four-fingered hands and smooth bluish skin. They breathed oxygen and communicated through sound waves, making direct interaction possible without technological assistance. 3 days after landing, the Confederation requested a formal meeting with Earth's leadership. Through the United Nations, a delegation was assembled. Sun Ho was selected to attend as a security advisor, primarily because of his experience with deep-sea signal analysis. The meeting took place in Singapore, at a hastily converted convention center. The alien representatives sat across from human delegates at a long table. Their leader, who called himself Director Loman, opened with practiced charm. "We have watched your development with great interest," Loman said, his translator device giving his words a metallic quality. "Your species has enormous potential. We wish to welcome humanity into our community of worlds." The offer seemed generous at first. Medical technology that could extend human lifespan by 30 years. Clean energy systems that would eliminate pollution. Limited access to nearby star systems through Confederation transport ships. But as negotiations continued over the next week, the terms became clearer. In exchange, Earth would provide the Confederation with mining rights to 20% of the planet's resources. Military development would be restricted. Space exploration would happen only under Confederation supervision. "This isn't an alliance," Sun Ho said during a private session with other advisors. "It's a protectorate agreement. They're treating us like children." The chief diplomat from India nodded. "Perhaps we are children to them. Their civilization is thousands of years ahead of ours." "Is it?" Sun Ho asked. "Their technology is impressive, but not magical. And they seem very interested in our oceans." This was true. Throughout negotiations, Confederation representatives had requested extensive data about Earth's oceans, depth surveys, thermal maps, and especially information about the deepest parts of the Pacific. When Sun Ho returned to his monitoring station after the Singapore meetings, he decided to investigate this interest further. Working late one night, he reviewed deep-sea monitoring data from the past 5 years, looking for anything unusual. At first, he found nothing. Then, checking recordings from monitoring stations near the Mariana Trench, he noticed something strange. Periodic energy pulses, extremely faint but definitely artificial, coming from the deepest point in the ocean. Sun Ho cross-referenced the data with Confederation visit timelines. The aliens had requested specific information about this area twice, then dismissed the energy readings as background radiation when questioned. A week later, world leaders signed preliminary agreements with the Confederation. The aliens established permanent embassies on Earth. Construction began on a Confederation monitoring station in orbit. The news media celebrated humanity's entry into the galactic community, though some warned about the loss of independence. Sun Ho was promoted to liaison officer between Pacific Naval Command and the Confederation. His first assignment was to escort alien scientists on an oceanographic survey mission. As their research vessel crossed the Pacific, he noticed how the aliens focused their scans on specific deep water areas. "You seem very interested in our oceans," Sun Ho said casually to the lead researcher, a female alien named Terex. "Water worlds are uncommon," she replied, adjusting her instruments. especially ones with such deep trenches. Is that unusual in the galaxy? Terex hesitated slightly before answering. Not unusual, just interesting. That night, Sun Ho received an encrypted message from Admiral Yunji Cho, requesting an urgent meeting upon his return to shore. The message contained only one additional line: "Watch for shadows beneath the waves." As Sun Ho looked out at the dark ocean waters, he wondered what secrets lay hidden in the depths, secrets that seemed to interest their new galactic neighbors so intensely. For the first time since the aliens arrived, he felt something besides unease. He felt purpose. The submarine moved silently through the black depths of the Pacific Ocean. Sun Ho Kim sat rigid in his seat, watching as the pressure gauge displayed numbers he had never imagined a vessel could withstand. When Admiral Yunji Cho had ordered him to report to a remote naval base in Busan, he expected a debriefing about his observations of the Confederation scientists. Instead, he found himself on this strange submarine with no external markings or identification. "How deep are we going?" Sun Ho asked the pilot, a stoic woman who had introduced herself only as Minji. "Deeper than any submarine you know about can go," she replied without taking her eyes off the controls. The vessel continued its descent for another 30 minutes. Sun Ho noticed they were following a specific trajectory toward the exact coordinates where he had detected the strange energy pulses. As they approached the ocean floor, Minji activated what appeared to be a standard floodlight. But instead of illuminating the water ahead, it projected something like a scanning beam. The seafloor suddenly split open before them, revealing a massive underwater doorway. The submarine glided through the opening into a gigantic chamber. As water drained away, Sun Ho realized they had entered some kind of airlock. When the inner doors opened, he gasped. Before them stretched an enormous underwater facility, extending for kilometers in every direction. Construction bays, research centers, and most incredibly, ships. Thousands upon thousands of ships, unlike anything he had ever seen on Earth. "Welcome to Deep Shield," said Admiral Cho, waiting for him as the submarine docked. The most classified program in human history. Sun Ho followed the Admiral through the facility, struggling to process what he was seeing. Workers moved purposefully among the massive structures. Engineers tested equipment that seemed decades beyond current technology. And everywhere, ships in various stages of completion. "How long has this existed?" Sun Ho finally managed to ask. "The program began in 1843, Admiral Cho said matter-of-factly, when a fishing vessel accidentally discovered something in the Mariana Trench. She led him to a secure section, where behind thick glass sat what appeared to be an ancient spacecraft. Its design was clearly alien, but different from Confederation technology. This vessel crashed on Earth approximately 50,000 years ago, Admiral Cho explained. The crew was long dead when we found it, but the technology was mostly intact. We've been reverse engineering it ever since. But this facility, the ships, this would require resources, people, money. How could this be hidden? It wasn't easy, the Admiral admitted. But certain people in every major government have always known about the possibility of alien contact. They established a shadow organization, funded by a fraction of a percent from every national defense budget worldwide. Over generations, we built this. Sun Ho's mind raced with implications. The Confederation, do they know? We believe they suspect something. That's why they're so interested in our oceans. They detected energy signatures from our power systems, but not the full extent of the operation. They entered a central command center where giant screens displayed the status of facilities scattered throughout Earth's oceans. The number of ships under construction was displayed prominently, 978,542. Almost 1,000,000 ships. Sun Ho whispered in disbelief. And crew to match, Admiral Cho confirmed. Our personnel are trained in secret facilities, often believing they're part of conventional military special programs. Only when they're assigned to actual deep shield duties do they learn the truth. She showed him schematics comparing Confederation technology with deep shield capabilities. The alien ships that had so impressed humanity were actually inferior to what humans had secretly developed. But why keep this secret now that they're here? With this fleet, we could negotiate from a position of strength. Admiral Cho's expression darkened. Because we don't know their true numbers or intentions. If the Confederation is peaceful, revealing our fleet might provoke them unnecessarily. If they're not, then we need the element of surprise. Sun Ho finished. Exactly. For now, we play along with their protectorate agreement. We let them think we're naive newcomers to galactic politics. Meanwhile, we watch and prepare. She handed Sun Ho a small device resembling a standard military ID card. You've been officially transferred to Deep Shield. Your primary mission is to continue working with the Confederation representatives while reporting any information about their intentions or capabilities. As Sun Ho looked out over the vast underwater complex, he understood the weight of what he had learned. Humanity was not the helpless child the Confederation believed. For centuries, wise leaders had prepared for this moment, building a hidden force beneath the waves. How many people know about this? He asked quietly. Fewer than 10,000 know the full scope, Admiral Cho replied. And now you're one of them. 6 months passed since Sun Ho had learned about Deep Shield. During this time, he continued his role as liaison between Earth's naval forces and the Confederation. He observed with growing concern as the aliens' behavior subtly changed. What had begun as polite requests became firm demands. The first sign of trouble came when Confederation mining operations in the Atlantic exceeded their agreed quotas by 30%. When questioned, Director Luhman dismissed it as a measurement discrepancy. 2 weeks later, their Pacific operations similarly exceeded limits. Sun Ho documented each violation meticulously and forwarded the information through secure channels to Admiral Cho. Meanwhile, more Confederation ships arrived in Earth orbit, supposedly for cultural exchange purposes. One evening, as Sun Ho reviewed satellite images of new Confederation installations, his office door opened. Terex, the alien researcher he had worked with months ago, entered quietly. "We need to talk," she said, glancing nervously at the door. "Not here. Somewhere private." They met at a small coastal park after midnight. Waves crashed against rocks below as Terex revealed what she knew. "The Confederation isn't what we claim to be," she admitted. "We don't help developing worlds join a galactic community. We absorb them, strip their resources, and move on." "Why are you telling me this?" Sun Ho asked, keeping his face neutral despite his alarm. "My homeworld was like Earth once. We believed the Confederation's promises. Now we're a mining colony with no independence." Her four-fingered hand trembled slightly. "I've seen this pattern too many times." She explained that the Confederation operated on a specific timeline. First contact, followed by limited technology exchange and resource agreements. Then increased presence, resource extraction beyond agreements, and finally, when resistance emerged, swift military action to maintain peace. "How long until the final phase?" Sun Ho asked. "Days, perhaps. The military ships are already positioning themselves." After Terex left, Sun Ho immediately transmitted her warning to Deep Shield Command. By morning, confirmation came from multiple intelligence sources. Confederation warships had begun moving into strategic positions around Earth. That afternoon, Director Luhman addressed the United Nations with new demands. The Confederation would now require access to 50% of Earth's resources. All military forces would be placed under Confederation oversight. Resistance would be considered destabilizing behavior, requiring intervention. As world leaders debated how to respond, the Confederation demonstrated their power. 3 military bases that had shown particular resistance to alien presence were neutralized by precision strikes from orbit. Confederation forces described this as peacekeeping actions against dangerous elements. Sun Ho was summoned to emergency Deep Shield headquarters, now fully activated beneath the Pacific. He found Admiral Cho in the Central Command Center. surrounded by military leaders from around the world. "It's happening exactly as our founders feared," she said grimly. "The Confederation follows the same pattern with every world they target." On the main screen, satellite imagery showed Confederation warships positioning themselves above major cities worldwide. A message from Director Lohman played on repeat across all communication channels. "For the safety and prosperity of all Earth citizens, the Confederation must establish direct governance. Resistance will necessitate population reduction measures to maintain stability. Please comply with all Confederation directives. They're threatening to destroy our cities if we don't surrender completely," said General Ta Hoon Park, representing Asian Defense Forces. Admiral Cho nodded. "They believe we have no choice but to comply. They have no idea what we've prepared." She turned to the assembled leaders. "The question before us is simple. Is it time to reveal Deep Shield?" For 2 centuries, the organization had operated on a single principle: remain hidden until absolutely necessary. Once revealed, the element of surprise would be lost forever. Sun Ho spoke up. "I spent months observing their technology and tactics. They're powerful, but not as advanced as they want us to believe. Their advantage has always been surprise and intimidation. They don't expect resistance. And Terex confirmed they follow this pattern with every world," added a Brazilian admiral. "They've never faced a prepared opponent." The vote was unanimous. Deep Shield would activate. Admiral Cho issued the order that generations of commanders had trained for, but hoped never to give. Initiate Operation Rising Tide. Throughout Earth's oceans, massive underwater doors began to open. Power systems, hidden for decades, surged to full capacity. Crews who had trained their entire lives in secret prepared for emergence. Sun Ho watched the countdown clock on the main display, thinking of all the generations that had worked in silence to prepare for this moment. In 12 hours, the Confederation would learn that humanity was not the naive species they believed, and the galaxy would never be the same. The ocean churned as if in the grip of a massive storm. From his position aboard the command vessel Seo Haiyan, Sun Ho watched the tactical display showing similar disturbances across all of Earth's oceans. The first ships were surfacing. In the Sea of Japan, 30 massive vessels broke the surface simultaneously, water cascading from their sleek hulls. Similar emergences happened in the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, the Indian Ocean, the South China Sea. Everywhere water covered Earth's surface, the hidden fleet was rising. Pacific Command reports all vessels emerged and operational, reported Communications Officer Jai Yun. Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic commands confirmed the same. On the main view screen, satellite imagery showed the Confederation flagship in orbit. Sun Ho imagined the confusion aboard that vessel as they detected thousands of unknown ships suddenly appearing on their sensors. "They're hailing all Earth governments," Jai Yun announced. Director Lohman is demanding explanation. Admiral Cho, standing calmly at the command center, nodded. "Put me through on the global channel." When the connection was established, she spoke clearly. "This is Admiral Yun-Ji Cho of Earth Deep Shield Command. Your threats against our world have been noted. You have 1 hour to withdraw all forces from Earth orbit or face defensive action." The response was immediate. "This is impossible." Lohman's voice crackled through the speakers. "Your species has no such capability. These vessels cannot be yours." "I assure you they are," Admiral Cho replied. "We discovered your scout ships centuries ago. We have prepared accordingly." The Confederation's response was to launch fighters toward the surfaced fleet. Sun Ho had anticipated this. As the newly appointed tactical commander of the Pacific Division, he had studied Confederation battle strategies extensively. "All vessels, activate defensive shields," he ordered. "Intercept approaching fighters but hold fire until engage." The Deep Shield ships moved with incredible speed and precision. Their technology, reverse-engineered and improved over generations, was more advanced than even the Confederation's best weapons. The alien fighters fired energy weapons that dissipated harmlessly against Deep Shield shields. "They're scanning us," reported the sensor officer, trying to understand our technology. Sun Ho smiled grimly. Let them look. They won't find anything familiar. In orbit, the Confederation launched a full attack against Earth's satellite network and the few conventional space stations. At Admiral Cho's command, the second phase of Rising Tide began. From launch bays across the globe, smaller deep shield vessels shot upward, reaching orbit in minutes rather than hours. The battle in space was brief but intense. Confederation vessels, though powerful, were unprepared for Earth's hidden capabilities. Their shields failed against weapons they had never encountered before. On the Confederation command ship, panic spread as reports of losses poured in. Director Lohman ordered his flagship to retreat to the edge of the solar system, but found his vessel surrounded by deep shield ships that had matched his speed. Confederation flagship, this is Commander Sun Ho Kim. Sun Ho transmitted from the Seoion, which had now risen to orbit. Your vessel is surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. For several tense minutes, there was no response. Then, reluctantly, the Confederation flagship dimmed its energy signature in surrender. Sun Ho led the boarding party himself. Entering through an airlock, his team moved efficiently through the alien vessel, securing key areas. They found Director Lohman on the bridge, his blue skin pale with shock. How? The alien asked as Sun Ho approached. Your species was pre-spaceflight. Our intelligence confirmed it. Your intelligence saw what we wanted you to see, Sun Ho replied. We knew someone would come eventually. We prepared. The full scope of humanity's achievement became clear over the next few hours. Nearly 1 million ships had emerged worldwide, with capabilities far beyond what the Confederation had believed possible. Reports from captured Confederation officers revealed that humanity's fleet actually exceeded the entire Confederation Navy in number and technological sophistication. News spread quickly through the Galactic Communication Network that the Confederation had seized during their arrival. Other species learned that the supposedly primitive Earth had not only defeated a Confederation battle group, but possessed technology that matched or exceeded anything known in the region. From the captured flagship, Sun Ho looked down at Earth, its oceans now dotted with the emerged deep shield vessels. For centuries, humanity had hidden its true potential, building in secret beneath the waves. Now, that patient preparation had saved them from becoming just another exploited world. What happens now? Asked Jai Yun, standing beside him on the alien bridge. Now, Sun Ho said, we show the galaxy a different way of doing things. 3 months after the defeat of the Confederation forces, Sun Ho stood on the observation deck of the newly established Earth diplomatic station. The massive structure orbited at the Lagrange point between Earth and the Moon, serving as humanity's first official galactic embassy. Through the viewports, he could see ships arriving from across the galaxy, vessels of different designs, carrying representatives from dozens of species. Commander Kim, the Nexari delegation has docked, announced Jai Yun, now serving as his chief diplomatic officer. That makes 22 species who have sent representatives. Sun Ho nodded, adjusting his new uniform. The deep shield insignia was now displayed proudly rather than hidden. After centuries of secrecy, humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage with unexpected power and sophistication. Are they like the others? He asked. Former Confederation subjects. Yes, Jai Yun confirmed. Their homeworld was one of the first to be protected by the Confederation. They've been under resource extraction contracts for over 200 years. The truth about the Confederation had emerged quickly after the battle. Far from being a benevolent alliance of advanced species, it was essentially a colonial enterprise. A small group of worlds had discovered faster-than-light travel first and used their advantage to subjugate less advanced civilizations. Their tactics were always the same. Arrive with impressive technology, offer protection, establish resource extraction, and gradually take control. The Nexari delegation entered the observation deck, their tall, slender forms moving gracefully despite the unfamiliar gravity. Their leader, Ambassador Trell, approached Sunho with what appeared to be a gesture of respect. "Earth Commander," the alien said through a translator device, "my people thank you for receiving us. For generations, we believed we were alone in our suffering." "You're not alone anymore," Sunho replied. "Please, tell us about your world."